To understand how this illusion is pulled off, first take a look behind these innocent-looking crates and meet our not-so-innocent stagehands waiting for their cue. The magician climbs in and the lid is secured. Meanwhile, a secret panel concealed in one of the crates pops open, and a metal track is slid into place. Out front, the assistants wave their torches to buy some time and distract us from what's going on behind the incinerator. Then a conveyor belt slides out on the track into the incinerator, forming a bridge for an easy escape. The incinerator conceals all the action from the audience. Meanwhile, the magician ducks out a secret trapdoor in the back of the incinerator and climbs onto the conveyor belt, just as the assistants are about to light the fire. He could be reduced to ashes if he doesn't get out in time. He's pulled to safety by the stagehands, just seconds before the flames explode. Case closed. But what about the skeleton that's smoking in the bottom of the incinerator? Concealed in the lid is a secret compartment that holds a prop skeleton dressed in a tattered masked magician costume. Happy Halloween. Once the magician is out of the incinerator, the assistant turns a control lever, releasing the skeleton. The flames are lit. The skeleton is revealed. And the masked magician appears to be toast. But we know better, now that we know the secrets.
Coming up, who is he and why did he do it? It won't be long before the mask comes off and the truth comes out. But first, how does the masked magician get his head chopped off and live to tell about it? The secret, when we return.
Now for a deadly illusion known as the spike torture. The torture chamber is filled with 26 stainless steel spikes. The spikes are 2 feet long. They're very real and very sharp. Looks like this is going to be a sticky situation. Even the masked magician wouldn't tempt fate with a dangerous trick like this, so he's found a willing stand-in, his beautiful assistant. She knows the drill. A little hypnosis and she's ready for anything. Hey, this guy's good. What's his secret? The assistant steps into position and is secured with shackles that are welded to the steel wall of the chamber. Hypnosis or not, this girl's pretty brave. Let's peek through the window. She's still there, still breathing, still beautiful. Looks like she might be having some second thoughts. Too late. The magician is ready to begin the painful procedure. The machine is set in motion. Once the button is pushed, there's no way to stop it, not even by screaming. But the screams wouldn't last long because the force of the spikes is enough to cause instant death. Good thing he's got 3 other assistants. Ah, at last some penetrating television. We can see that the spikes are passing right through the assistant's body and are coming out the front of the torture chamber. Puncture perfect. The masked magician has done it again. So how did our lovely assistant avoid getting impaled by the spikes? Here's the secret. While all the spikes are extremely sharp, most of them pass through the torture chamber without ever touching the assistant. The spikes that do touch her have been specially rigged. Just as they are about to pierce her body, the sharp steel tips automatically retract into the shafts. The machine has been custom designed for this particular assistant's measurements. The tips have been preset to retract just centimeters from her body. But what keeps the shafts from crushing the assistant? They're not really moving. It's an optical illusion created by the other spikes that are moving around them. But if the tips simply retract, why do they seem to pierce the front of the torture chamber? The answer is easy. There's a matching set of spikes hidden in the front wall. Taking off the front panel, you can see that the phony set of spikes is lined up with the spikes that are supposedly being driven into the assistant's back. As the mechanism guiding the real spikes makes contact with the front wall, the phony set of spikes is pushed out, making it look like the assistant is being impaled. But looks can be deceiving. Now the masked magician will try to cheat death once more as he faces the razor-sharp blade of the guillotine. That's one way to make coleslaw. The magician enters dressed in the traditional condemned man's robes. The ladies bid their fond farewells and up he goes. Nice knowing you, masked man. His assistants strap him to a bodyboard to keep him from running away. No chance of that. He's scared stiff. His head is then locked in the metal restraint, and his body is lowered into position beneath the blade. I assure you, this is a real guillotine. No shortcuts here. Next, his head is secured with the wooden stocks. He's not going anywhere. One last check on the restraints, and here comes the executioner. He's got his work cut out for him. I can't bear to watch. Is it over? Of course not. Not when the executioner is the masked magician. So how does he do it? Here's the secret. As the illusion begins, the magician makes his dramatic entrance, cloaked in the condemned man's robe. The costume should have been your first clue that something was up. Beneath the hood is a duplicate mask that covers the magician's everyday mask, and a head-shaped shell which takes the place of his real head. Without the robe, you can see that the magician is also wearing a form-fitting body cast. While it looks like the assistants are helping him get into position, they're really grabbing the shoulders of the fake body and separating it from the magician. Now watch the move without the robe in place. That's one way to skin a magician. Even though the magician is no longer inside the robe, the fake body holds his shape. The assistants strap it in place to keep the form and head in an upright position. But where does the magician go? Hidden in the platform is a spring-loaded trapdoor that allows him to escape. He's got plenty of room to drop down, turn, and continue down a slide that's built into the staircase. This cutaway view shows his movement through the stairs. Dead man sliding. At the bottom of the staircase, he slips out unnoticed. As the fake body is lowered into position, the magician puts on the executioner's robe and heads back up to the platform. The stage is set. The deadly blade severs the fake head, and the masked magician lives on. Pretty sharp, huh?
Next, is the masked magician someone you know? Find out who he is and why he did it. But first, can the magician escape from this 6-foot grave before his air runs out? The answer when magic's biggest secrets are finally revealed.